Hey guys, what's up? Green Machine Sam back with another video, and today we have another Tennessee Titans franchise video. We are kicking off Season 2. We're going to be taking on the Minnesota Vikings at home this time around. We do have some stuff to go over, of course, before hopping into the season. Like I was saying, we do have some stuff to go over and just get done and out of the way. Of course, some of it is pretty big. Season goals, draft class, opening keys, weekly strategies, and everything else are all major factors going into the season. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of the stuff. First, we're going to get opening keys out of the way. Main thing we want to do is run the ball. Of course, we have to run the ball. That's something that we're going to be focusing on a lot. Of course, with this team last year, even one of the main focuses was running the ball. You know, passing was never really our strong suit, so we do need to pound the rock, which is 150 yards for us. Let's see if we can go out, get that done, and ultimately get a win in week 1 and start off the season on the right track. So that season goal, we're definitely shooting for the playoffs. I don't know if we can commit much more than that, but we are shooting for the playoffs. I would love to make a deep playoff run. I'd love to win a playoff game, but playoffs right now are the main focus. Of course, we could do the old, we got to take each week by each week, go 1-0 in each week, and we should be able to make the playoffs and stuff like that. So, and then, of course, we do have to generate the auto class. We're going to take a look at it real quick just to look and see what's on the board going into week 1. Now, of course, there's wide receiver, a defensive end, a quarterback, 2 quarterbacks, and another receiver all inside the top 5. A defensive tackle, an edge, 2 tackles, and a safety all inside the top 10. And then even another quarterback inside the top 11. So there's 4 first-round quarterbacks and then some more after that. So it should be an interesting time, of course, if Will Levis, Malik Willis, or, of course, Trey Lance, who's now here in the building. If none of them can succeed this year, none of them really put a stamp at franchise quarterback, I think we could definitely look in that direction, especially heading into the 3rd year of this franchise. I think that'd definitely be a way to go. So, of course, we're going to look at the lineup as well. The lineup is subject to change. And, of course, one of the big varying factors is age versus potential versus long-term suitability to everything else, right? One of the major factors is Goodwill, right? He's going to be a good backup for us for a couple games for at least the start of the season. We're going to let Taylor Lewan have that right tackle position. If it doesn't feel like he's going the correct way, we can always move players around. We do have Dixon as well, Dorian Dixon, our tackle transitioned into guard, and then Christian Malone. The biggest problem with him is they both do have low injury ratings, so that is something to watch as the season progresses. Josh Wiley and Chigo Okonkwo are both back at tight end. They're going to be a big factor of this offense. This team looks good. It does. It definitely looks good. There's definitely still holes here. There's definitely still pieces missing. Of course, if things aren't going our way, we could definitely look to trade off Harold Landry, as he does have a big contract, and that superstar dev trait should help kick in and get us a little bit more in return. Roger McCreary up to star as well. He ended up getting that in the off season, so that's good for him. Florence is going to start, and Brendan Davis is going to back up both him and Amani Hooker. The biggest problem with Davidson right now is he doesn't have man coverage at all. It's going to be hard to really put him in any of the roles that we normally put him in. Put our safeties in. We do normally ask one of our safeties to be able to cover and man every once in a while, especially when we send those 5-man pressures. I think the team looks good. And I'm always willing to change up how the team looks, right? If Hopkins isn't producing, we can trade him off. If somebody isn't producing, we can always move on from one of those pieces. That's why we went out and signed some of these veterans. That's why we went out and got a guy like Cody Whitehair. That's why we kept Saylor and Petit Fier. We brought in A.J. Jackson. This is why we brought in some of those guys. Isaiah Hodgins is another one. Bo Melton's another. We also drafted 2 receivers in Franklin Amos and Max Smith. We brought in these guys so that if there is a problem still recurring in some of these position groups, we can move on from them and we can start to look to develop into other pieces. We do have Josh Thompson back. He's going to be helping out at safety as well as Jason Pinnock, who I really, really like. He has good stats all across the board. He's one of the more balanced safeties, especially at a 75. 89 speed's not great, but it's not bad. 72 zone, 72 man, 61 hit, 68 pursuit, 73 play rec. I mean, just all around 73 tackle. He's just a good, well-rounded safety. He should be able to fit in nice wherever we need him. I think the team's very good. I think we're in a good spot going into year 2. I don't think we're too overpowered, and I don't think we went completely berserk, but we have enough to compete and actually look like a good team going into the season. But with that being said, we should be able to hop in. I do have to go make sure all the sliders are correct before we hop in. I'm going to get weekly strategy done. If anybody gets a dev trait, it might pop up here or now. But other than that, I'll see you guys when we hop into the first game of Season 2. So, for the first time in 2024, the Tennessee Titans offense will come out onto the field, rocking our dark blues up top with our whites bottoms. With the Vikings wearing their purple bottoms, I figured it was appropriate to rock out the white bottoms, make us a little bit more distinguishable than the Vikings. You know, you don't want to match with them. So 1st and 10, we're going to open up the season with pass. I mean, I just think that's appropriate. I know we're supposed to be running the football, but I think starting off with the pass is appropriate. Chigga for 6. 2nd and 4. I mean, this is a play that I really like in another playbook that I have used before. So we're going to go with it. Let's try it out. Dropping back to pass, looking. Treylon Burks is open. Oh my God, starting off the game with a massive completion, but on the sideline, toe taps out at the 8. What a way to start off the season. Just play action, get them off their feet, and just stop and go. Going to run right at Ivan Pace here. Peter Skronsky up to the 2nd level, only down to the 5 after a 3-yard rush. Bynum comes up, makes the tackle. I think is that James Houston in the Vikings uniform right there? Yes, it is. So he will be a problem on that edge with DJ Wanham, who signed with the Vikings. 2nd and goal. Going to drop back to pass, looking. Nothing really there. Will Levis scrambling, trying to beat Ivan Pace, and Ivan Pace spins him into the end zone. And that's still one of the dumbest animations in Madden. I will admit that. I know Will Levis just scored there, and I should be happy for him, but that is still one of the dumbest animations. In no defender's mind would you ever risk giving up the touchdown over the tackle. You would say, hey, if I go to tackle him, if I miss this tackle, that's fine, but I'm not going to throw him into the fucking end zone on the tackle attempt. So, Joe Lopez, the new quarterback in Minnesota. Minnesota decided to move on from Kirk Cousins. They brought in another guy of Gardner Minshew. Decided not to play him here today. They're going to go with the rookie right out the gate. They still have Jaron Hall as well. I'm not really worried about their run attack just because Cam Akers just isn't a very good running back. And Madden, of course, I don't want to disrespect the man in real life, but he's just not a very high overall. We're going to have to focus on just really letting our defensive backs come to play. I'm really expecting a lot from these young guys. You know, we bring in 4 young guys. We bring in 2 corners, 2 safeties. We got to see what they can do. We're going to get them started here early. I don't know if my subs are fucked up or something, because Davidson's in. I don't want him in as a sub backer. Just because he's a safety and he can hit doesn't mean he should be in there. 4th and 5, though, after an incompletion there from Lopez, the rookie. The pressure getting under his skin already. So for the second drive, Will Levis starting off a perfect 2 for 2. Getting the ball moving very fast. Going to hand off here. Dorian Dixon not really finding anything to go there. So if he doesn't have good lead block, we might have to flip a lot of those plays back the other way. If he's not really the guy that we can depend on to be able to find those blocks, find the next level, find the linebackers, find those defense backs creeping down on those type of plays, we may have to run the ball the opposite side and let Skoronsky pull. That would be something we'd have to look at, of course, as I don't have Dorian Dixon's, numbers off the top of my head. And this is the first time you'll see a lot of these rookies as well, because I didn't really show them off. I kind of created them in a way that I thought they would look cool, but not too, ultra weird. Treylon Burks here, that formation has worked pretty well for us so far today. 4 for 4, 96 yards through the air. And these aren't much harder of sliders than what we had last year. So, starting off 4 for 4 for 96, is it a problem on Minnesota's end, or is it just us, playing well so far? I don't know how this is being challenged. I really don't. That's a catch all day. I don't know why you would challenge it in that situation. We're going to go back to this formation. And have Wiley go straight to the flats, but we're actually going to motion him to the other side, hopefully making them think it's going to be a run. And when we drop back, play action, Treylon open again, finding his man is Will Levison walking into the end zone for the touchdown, Treylon Burks. What an easy play. Treylon Burks just beats his man across the field, and that's what we like to see. But, of course, there is the old thing of last year where Treylon Burks would catch 4 balls and then get hurt. He's already at 3. 1st and 10, this rookie quarterback back out onto the field. We're going to send... We have to hope this defensive line can play well this season. That's something that we were missing a lot last year. I'm not going to say they played particularly bad, but they didn't show up in the moments that we actually needed them to. Seems like that safety's out there quite a bit. Okay. I don't know if it's just the playbook I'm running. I try to pick a playbook every, not year, but every time I start a new franchise. And with this, I'm starting over with playbooks because I brought in different coordinators and stuff. I'm trying to pick different playbooks so that it's not just like, oh, I know what exactly I need to run out of each look and stuff like that. Shair beating the block, getting the tackle down there on Cam Akers. Only a 4-yard rush there. Shair, again, on a 1-year deal, has to go out and prove himself. He got $8 million this last year. Can he continue to play well for us? Like I've said previously, I'm willing to, sacrifice money and overall for a player that just plays well. I'm not going to, let a guy go because he's just not a high overall or because of his age at this moment. I'm going to focus on a lot more other stuff that we need, If they play well on the field, they're going to get play time. They're going to continue to be on the team. Will they start? I don't know, but we'll have to continue to keep them on the team. Campbell not really showing up yet. We're going to need you to show up, big dog. I missed the hit stick there with Shair. That's Roger McCreary bringing down Jordan Addison. McCreary, different play style he's going to have to play this year. He's going to be a lot in the slot, especially when we go into those 3 cornerback looks. Jack Gibbons coming through the hole, chasing down Cam Akers. That 78 or 80 speed, I don't remember exactly what he's at. I know he's not particularly a high-speed individual, but chasing him down there, very good. Screen pass, Cam Akers. Shair gets over there, but can't make the tackle. Was looking more to slow him down and hopefully have some of his other Tennessee Titans teammates come up and make the tackle. Joseph Asai now down. We'll see a lot more Cleveland Ferrell here. Somebody I particularly liked coming out of college. I know a lot of people didn't, but I personally liked him. I don't know if I was buying too much on what some other people were talking about in terms of his abilities, but I personally liked him coming out of college. I don't think he was done any favors when he got sent to Las Vegas, and we all saw how the Las Vegas situation has turned out these last couple of years. Joe Lopez just not finding the ball more than 5 yards down the field. I'm going to have to hope that Joseph Asai can come back eventually but not be injured long term. That counts towards Caleb Farley's X factor. Rolling and has to throw the ball away, 4th and 8. I think it's too long for a field goal. It's 55. Yeah, they're definitely going to go for this. So it's 55 yards. Can they get it? Vickers coming off the edge. Mark Vickers, plenty of speed. If he can get around this edge, he can get the block. No, just not quite. But they do shank it wide right. It had the distance, but it does not have the accuracy. I don't even know who the fuck that is. That sucks as an offense. You don't get a whole ton of yards, but you do put your team in a position to be able to score points. So, that's tough. 1st and 10, going to dump off Spears here, left side of the field. He goes one-on-one with Brian Murphy. Brian Murphy's going to be able to bring him down. Harrison Phillips now down, holding his shoulder. Going to go off to the sideline here. That interior D-line of the Minnesota Vikings has gotten a little rough. I will say this, when free agency was over, I went over into all the teams and I kind of moved players around based off their schemes and stuff. So, and I looked at the Vikings because I had to move Terrell Dotson over to their stand-up backer portion instead of being an edge rusher. And outside of Harrison Phillips, they do not have a whole ton of talent on that interior D-line. So with him going out, we could be able to run the ball even more efficiently. And we haven't ran it much today with the pass game getting off to such a hot start. Tajay Spears out to the outside, trying to make a man miss, but multiple men there. Bynum, and Pace. I don't know why I said Brynum. God, I can't speak today, apparently. They're loading up with a weak box. You're tempting me to run this ball, and I'm going to. Going to motion Melton to the other side. Hopefully the cornerback will chase. He does, leaving Hopkins to take on the safety, Skronsky and Dixon to take on the linebackers. Man up, everybody. Get to the edge. Harrison Smith and Brian. That's why. Byron Murphy and then Bynum. That's why I wanted to say Byram. Because they have somebody named Byron Murphy, that is. Bo Melton, like I said, going to be playing in the slot. We had to get rid of Kyle Phillips. He just hasn't developed quite as much as we wanted to. We didn't necessarily get rid of him. We put him on practice squad and another team wanted him. Tajay Spears, that's a walk-in touchdown. Yeah. Too easy there for Tajay Spears. I might have to lower a lot of the sliders now that I'm seeing this. Okay, out for their third drive now. Minnesota has to get something going. I mean, their offense didn't play bad last drive. They just kind of stalled. And then the kicker not coming through there for them really sent momentum even more in our direction. Taking them 5 now. And drop back to pass, and there's Justin Jefferson. He has to be a big part of their offense as well. Man, I wish we had a receiver like Justin Jefferson. But I don't know why, but every time I play with a receiver like Justin Jefferson, who's, great and an X factor, I just can't get them the ball. I don't know if it's because of that number one option, and most of the time they get put over onto that left side of the field all by themselves, and it's one-on-one all the time. I don't know why. I just can't, get them the ball. Second and 10 now here after an incompletion. And you just saw our draft class. And our draft class is something that we really have to hope turns out to be what it looks to be at the moment, which is just good. Good talent across the board. I know it wasn't the sexiest draft ever. We didn't go out and get a brand new shiny toy at a lot of the skill positions, especially on the offensive side of the ball. But we have to hope that... Jesus, who the fuck is 13? No, that's Gabe Davis. We have to hope that our draft class comes up big, especially in the secondary where we spent a lot of top-end capital. Take a corner and safety in the first, and we take a corner and safety in the second, and a center in the second. So there's Dalton Reisner going down with an injury. He's holding his knee. That's never a good sign, especially for this Vikings team that has always seemed to be plagued with injuries at the wrong time, especially in real life. Jack Gibbons there knocks the ball out of TJ Hawkinson's hands. I don't need Gibbons to be anything special. I just need him to be good more than anything. I can't have him be, a nothing burger either. McCreary, you got to come up harder than that. If you want to get a contract extension, you got to come up harder than that. I think both McCreary and Caleb Farley are both looking for contract extensions going into this offseason, so how they play will determine, their money for the most part. Caleb Farley played great last year, got X Factor, did a couple challenges, and leading the league in picks. Now we just need him to continue to develop. McCreary also played well last year in times. Other times it seemed like he struggled. It seems like he almost played better against the X Factors as he gets, 8 yards put on him there. I'm going to be honest, it seemed like he played better against X Factors. I remember him shutting down T. Higgins. I remember for the most part. And then I remember him shutting down a couple other guys, slowing them down at least. Jeffrey Simmons gets the knockdown at the line. 4th and 2 at the 4. Yeah, I would say as well, with you being down 21, I think this is definitely an option to go for it here. 4th and 2, looking to pass. Scrambling, finding Justin Jefferson in the back of the end zone. Stepping up into the pocket, making an off-balance throw back to the end zone. Justin Jefferson makes a great play. Diving play. I don't know why the safety isn't running with him there. One of my biggest pet peeves is why are you just playing that back line? Who the fuck do you think you're guarding back there by just standing on the back line of the end zone? I don't understand that. 1st and 10 for the offense. At our own 23. Going to go play action here right away. Their safeties are playing kind of shallow here. Oh, fuck. Harrison Smith just baited me. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, okay. That's not good. Harrison Smith baited me. I saw him come down on Chig right away. So as soon as I go to push the button, I'm seeing him start to bail immediately off of Chig. And he just plays that perfectly, and they knock it in the air, and he comes up with the pick. That's insane. Just, veteran safety baiting me right there. That's crazy. First mistake, of course, on me, like always. Will Levis not off to a great start now. That immediately tanks his QB ratings, if I do say so myself. Here, I don't know why Brandon Davidson is in so much. I don't know if it's the formations that we keep getting put in. I'm not 100% sure. Like, this one's going to be nickel. I shouldn't see him in then. I'm going to send a zone blitz. We're going to bring Gibbons over here. Act like he's coming as well and drop him immediately. But TJ Hawkinson, such a good blocker. Cam Akers all the way up to the 42-yard line there. Yeah, they're going to have some momentum now. With that play, they're going to have some momentum. They're going to look to build on it. I don't love that Cleveland Farrell's in coverage on TJ. And just everybody getting pushed back. Nobody stepping up there. 9 for 49 for Cam Akers now. 156 total yards for them. Bring Hooker down. Put him in the box. Going to tempt these guys to throw the ball here. Jair, make a play. Gibbons, make a play. Finally brought down after a 3-yard carry there. 2nd and 7 now. Going to go man double buzz. Bring those safeties down closer. Like I said, I need somebody on this defensive line to be a dominant force. We have a superstar and we have an X factor. One of these guys needs to step up. I've never had this many problems with a defensive line. I know our defensive line isn't particularly, quite the highest rated team. And I get that, right? I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I don't understand that we don't have the super great talented D-line. But even when I've only had one or two other guys and certain other franchises, they've come through. And you can say like, oh, well, maybe it was an edge, or maybe they were an X factor, or higher overall. No, I've had guys with lower overalls come through. Hell, in my Broncos franchise, when I traded for Lucas Van Ness, in his 4th season, he was only a 77 overall and just wasn't developed. He came in right away and put up 9.5 sacks in half a season. So, 2nd and 2 now here inside the red zone. Hand off to their fullback, and he just continues to turn his legs. Gets 3 there. Ben Mason, former Baltimore Raven now at this point, I would assume. 60 out. I think we can all agree this is a run here. We go run up the middle. I think we can cover these edges. I just don't know if we can get there on the inside zones. 2nd and goal now after a 1-yard rush. Jair already with 6 tackles on the day. And 60 half out. I expect a run. Jair and Cam Akers wins at the goal line. Jair was put in a good position. He just, momentum on Cam Akers' side. He ends up winning that 21-14 here late in the second. 1st and 10, starting at our own 21. We paid a lot of money to go out and get Tyron Smith. We're going to run behind him. Him and Peter Skoronski have to be the focal point of this O-line. I cannot have pressures coming from that side. I can't have, lapses of judgment on that side. That side has to be perfect, in my opinion. Taylor Lewan and Dorian Dixon are a different story. I have to have good presence over on that left side. And as I say that, James Houston just beat Tyron Smith for a sack. Holy shit. We just paid you like $25 million for that. Nice. Already letting up a sack in game 1. That's wonderful. Vikings going to call a timeout here, hoping to preserve as much time as humanly possible. I'm going to go mid-high-low. This play always worked for me in the past. Chig run a curl. Burks run a comeback. You should be at the sticks when I throw this. It's Bo Melton, and it's picked. I thought I could thread it over the head of the safety, and that's just not the case. Jordan Poyer there. Holy fuck, am I playing like dog shit. What the fuck is going on with me? 1st and 10. They're in our territory. Start off, putting the defense in a bad situation. This is something we also needed to avoid a lot this season. Joseph Asai gets through, but I don't even remember his last name at this point. Their quarterback throws the football away. I don't know why I'm spacing on the quarterback's name all of a sudden. And just Justin Jefferson there, but Quentin Ayers able to catch up and knock the ball free just enough. Slightly thrown behind him, and Quentin Ayers able to regain some positioning and come up big there for us. 3rd and 10. Just bend it, but don't break. No first downs. No first downs. There's Jeffrey Simmons, and it's a fumble. McCreary has a chance. Oh, and he's gone. Roger McCreary's gone. Jeffrey Simmons and Roger McCreary come up big here. The defense ends up not letting the offense's mistake. So after a good tackle on special teams, Vikings offense will come back out. So far, the rookie quarterback hasn't made too many mistakes that I remember anyway. We send a little bit of pressure, and our pressure gets home, and unfortunately, he fumbles the football. I think that's going to be a flag on us. Unfortunately, penalty. No, holding. Should be on the offensive line then. And it is Matt Hennessy, the left guard. I don't know if that's the guy that came in and replaced Reisner, or if that's just one of their starters at this point. But 1st and 19 now instead. Minute 33 now here in the second half. I would assume based off these next 2 plays will determine how much they want to go for it. How aggressive they are. Spread the D-line. Let them go after him. Throws the ball away. 3rd and 8. And the big thing here is even if they run the football here, the clock is running. Do we call a timeout? Do we give our offense another chance? Do we give Will Levis another chance to go out there and throw the football? 3rd and 8. You're going to drop back to pass looking. I'm looking, trying to find somebody. Nobody there. 4th and 8. Joe Lopez is his name. God damn. You stupid ass. That's like a very simple name. 4th and 8. We're going to end up getting the ball back with all 3 of our timeouts. We're going to bring Davidson back. Hopefully get an extra blocker back there. Max Smith, the guy out of Bama. Can he do something with this punt return? Not really. Damn. Up to the 36, though. Not particularly terrible. 6 rushes, 50 yards today for Tajay Spears. 8.3 yards a carry. He's performed phenomenally. We haven't really gotten him the ball a whole ton in these last couple drives, especially on the ground. Gonna immediately hit this Vikings D with a screen. Dorian Dixon out there gets up a block. Tajay Spears out of bounds up at the 50. 8 for 10, 160. Jesus. Will Levis's only 2 throws of the day have both been picks. One of them, we got baited by Harrison Smith. The other one, I just, defensive backs in this game can jump. And I forget about that sometimes. Spears underneath, catch, run. Harrison Smith grabs and pulls him down. I don't know if we're out of bounds. I'm just going to call a timeout anyway. I don't love the screen pass. I don't want to run it multiple times on the same drive. Hopkins here on a streak would be nice. Motion Melton in. Get them going. And just, I want him to throw it up the field. Up and over pace. Put it in between the 2 safeties and over the linebacker. I don't want you just throwing it at the back of the receiver. That's not what I'm wanting. Go SE corner here. Gonna have Melton immediately go to the flats. Gonna motion Burks in, get him going. Melton, sideline, get up the field, and then out of bounds. Up to the 30, 1st and 10, 32 seconds. We got 2 timeouts in our pockets. We're still in good shape to continuously put pressure on this defense. Don't love Haskins being in here. I'd rather have something like a Quentin Morris back in the backfield. Even though he is a lower end tight end, I would rather have him who's a reliable pass catcher at this point. Tajay Spears underneath. Nothing going there. Going to have to call a timeout. I saw the pressure coming. I figured get the ball out. I don't know. I just thought that play would end up differently there. Just a little bit different. Spears, we're going to send on a streak. If they don't cover this properly, Spears could be open right away. He is, but that's tough. We could take a shot towards the end zone if we have one. I don't want to take a shot if we don't need to end up forcing a mistake. I accidentally flipped the play. We're going to flip it back. I think something we could do here is... I still like Melton here on this shot play, but bring Burks in. I'm going to bring him back. As soon as he gets past Hopkins, run him. Shit. We don't have anywhere to go. Will Levis scrambles for the first. I completely forgot we were out of timeouts as I was breaking that line of scrimmage. So I just figured get out of bounds, just angle for the sideline and get out, and he does. One play to the end zone. That's all we really have time for in terms of, because if we get sacked, we're kind of just screwing ourselves out of points. Okonkwo one-on-one, Harrison undercuts it. We're lucky that's not even picked. 10 seconds. I continuously think we can go for this here. I don't love the spots that Hopkins is getting put into, though. Like, I'd much rather have him on some of these other routes than, a Bo Melton. Treylon Burks just can't get the football. 5 seconds. I think we settle for our points, take our points, end into the half, up 3 scores, up 31-14, and that's what we're going to do. And I would assume they're going to return the kickoff and either take the 3 seconds off or they'll just kneel the ball out at this point. So we will probably be going into half after this point. So the Vikings will get their first chance in the second half. Joe Lopez here, rookie quarterback, has played pretty well. I'm not going to lie. Hasn't played particularly bad, I would say. I don't think it's on him for trying to extend a play, not wanting to take a sack, and then, ultimately getting... Caleb Farley with a pick! Trying to throw it to TJ Hawkins, and as I'm giving him credit for not making a real big mistake so far today, he makes his first big one, throwing it to Caleb Farley. Caleb Farley undercutting it. He's supposed to be on Jordan Addison, undercuts it, catches it. Ball made out for TJ Hawkinson, and just Caleb Farley comes up big. 1st and 10, going to hand the ball off here, and I don't know where the fuck my blocking is. So far in these last 4 or 5 rushes, there's nowhere to be found. Josie Jewell, I think that's how you pronounce his name. I do like these pistol looks, but I don't like how the left side is completely overloaded. Hopefully that our line works back that way. And just nothing going. When that edge is coming down hard, it's hard to hit that gap there. You almost want to try to push it outside. But when you push it outside, then guys start to shed a lot easier. Treylon Burks on this return route on this zig could be very optimal here. Chig also late here. Treylon underneath. No. I'm thinking Chig. Chig's open. And he catches this ball in front of Harrison Smith. Harrison Smith, not quite the athlete he used to be. I know he has a pick on us today, but one-on-one with a tight end, I'm willing to take that chance. 1st and 10, going to hand off the ball left side. Here we go. And Chig just can't hold his block against James Houston. James Houston has had a pretty phenomenal day. He normally plays pretty well when I face him. I know he played well when I faced him in my Broncos franchise. I know I don't record that, but he's played well against me in that. He's played well against me in almost every other franchise. 2nd and 11 here, going back to the air. Looking, Spears underneath, quick hitter. Gets down. 3rd and 7. Up to the 11. And Will Levis has had the same kind of issues today, Not in terms of last year. I mean, comparing him to Joe Lopez, the rookie quarterback for the Vikings. Not too many grave mistakes. It's just 1 or 2 passes that just haven't went his way. Spears trying to make a play. 4th and 1 now. We're going to go for it. We're going to try to put this game away here early. I'm going to go to PA Scissors, but I think we're going to end up running this football. Going to go just 94 Will. Let's go. Up the middle. Big on big. Let's go. 4th and 1. And Dorian Dixon and Taylor Lewan lead the way. Taylor Lewan almost gets us into the end zone. 1st and 10, down to the 1. What a good play there from Lewan. I saw him double up and then get up to that backer, and he just led the way. They just have nobody on this D-line. The formation's fucked for them. I almost feel like it's too cheesy to run the football, but we're going to do it anyway. Tajay Spears walk in. Didn't even have to push R2. He walks in for a touchdown. Tajay Spears looking to repeat his success that he had in his rookie season. Had 1,400 yards in his rookie season as a running back. That's pretty impressive. And that was just on the ground as well. I don't even remember his receiving stats. I think they were pretty good, to be fair. Up 38-14. If we probably score and they don't, I would assume we'll probably see one of the backup quarterbacks today at some point. So the Vikings will take over on their own 25-yard line once again. I will say the the reason Caleb Farley got his pick isn't because Caleb Farley was in a correct position. As Quentin Ayers almost has a chance at the football, drops it though. Jordan Addison will just have to pretend like he got a break up there. And like I was saying, the reason why Caleb Farley got his pick was because he was actually beat in coverage. He was trailing a drag route with a deep 10-yard in route that TJ Hawkinson was running. And for some reason, the CPU quarterback thinks that that's a open player. And as I say that, Gabe Davis gets open, gets the ball, beats Roger McCreary. And Roger, you have to play well because I do have another cornerback in the wings waiting in Mark Vickers. Handoff here, Cam Akers. Shair get there, makes a man miss, and down at the 31. 5-yard rush there. Joseph Asai coming all the way across the play, making that play happen. Like I was saying, Caleb Farley got the pick because he was burnt. It wasn't because he made a phenomenal play and he made he stopped on a dime, made a play, reached up and snagged it. No, he was burnt in coverage, and the CPU quarterback, whenever that happens, when those double in routes, one on a drag and one on a 10-yard in, for some reason thinks the tight end is always open and throws that ball, and half the time it is picked it off like that. If you have a speed corner and a decent sized corner there, I've had it happen in my Broncos franchise. I've had it happen here. I've had it happen in multiple other places, and it's kind of annoying because it's not really rewarding a good play. It's rewarding just bad AI judgment. 2nd and goal here. Shair with another tackle. 7 tackles on the day for him. He's had a pretty good day. I think a couple missed tackles, but nothing too terrible. It's not like he was getting he's getting exposed in coverage like he was last year, which I think is a big difference. I don't know if it's his stats have changed a whole ton, and just right there, walk-in touchdown. Amani Hooker just not playing that zone hard enough. TJ Hawkinson, easy catch into the end zone, touchdown. Oh shit, they're going for 2. I didn't even notice. I was looking at my other screen. 2-point conversion, bring the safety down, try to cover everything. Stepping up, Shair, make a play. Caleb Farley helps him out. We will stop him on the 2-point conversion. They'll still be down 3 scores, up 18 here, 3:49 remaining in the third quarter. 1st and 10 in our own 31. Max Smith got a pretty good return there. We can go immediately to play action. 6-on-6 here. Treylon Burks open. Can we hit him? He does. Backstep, no. Bynum there, able to come up with the tackle. Treylon Burks has had a phenomenal day. Getting stuck in these one-on-one coverages, and he's made the most of them. Will Levis has been able to get the ball to him. That is something we've also worried about, is his accuracy, especially down the field. Last year we saw him miss a lot of the out routes, a lot of the breaking stuff. That was further down the field. We just didn't have the accuracy that we wanted with him. 2nd and 11 now after a sack, technically. We'll end up going to the air here again. We should probably run this football, trying to drain the clock as much as possible. Instead, Tajay Spears, open, wheel route, touchdown, Spears. Through the air, on the ground. We could almost get him a triple crown in a way of touchdowns. We could almost let him throw a football if we really wanted to. Tajay Spears, though, through the air, gets the touchdown. The corner steps up, no safety behind. Just kind of lulled him into sleep. We had a 10-yard in, we had that flat route, and that wheel route just kind of just made him fall asleep and caught him lacking. 45-20 here late in the third. 1st and 10, they're going to start off at their own 19 after good special teams play here from us. 1st and 10. And drop back to pass. They almost have to, and they throw it at Cleveland Ferrell. I don't know what Joe Lopez is doing there. Cleveland Ferrell just dropped back into a spot, and he threw it at him. Yeah, that's not a way to impress a coach there, is to throw it at a edge rusher who's just standing in a spot. Not even an edge rusher that was covering. He just dropped straight back, and you threw it at him. Trying to test Caleb Farley there, trying to go over his head to Jordan Addison on that deep out. Nothing quite going there. 3rd and 10. Dropping back to pass, covering this deep in. He has to throw the ball away before he's sacked. Now bring up 4th and 10. Yeah, at this point we'll probably just end up running the football out. Just milking the clock. Letting our offense just slowly march down the field, if anything. I don't think we'll go to the air too much more here today unless we absolutely have to. Max Smith one-on-one with the punter and just can't quite beat him to the edge. Ryan Wright ends up pushing him out. 1st and 10 now here at the 49, almost in their territory. Just to start off, going to flip this play. Like I said, Dorian Dixon just kind of seemed lost on that first play that we ran with him. Skoronski, nobody there, and James Houston able to chase us down from behind. Of course, we want this clock to be running, trying to get out of here as fast as possible with this victory. Up 25. Tajay Spears, stay in bounds as well. Because there's no reason to get hit out of bounds. If you get hit out of bounds and hit inbounds, one will keep the clock running, one will end up stopping it. No reason to stop the clock. Gonna put this timer on shoe clock here. After this play, if I remember to. Spears up to the 2nd level. Christian Malone laid the fucking boom on whoever the fuck that was who decided to come out down into the box. They got laid the fuck out. They actually got laid out. We're going to go shoe clock here, and I didn't pick the right play. And I can't change to the run play because we've used it so much today. I'm going to go shock option here. Melton, if that safety doesn't rotate hard enough and I fucking put it on shoe clock, the clock runs fast, and the clock is on a low setting, and I don't snap the ball because I was trying to explain what I was going to be looking for. 2nd and 7 now, backs us up. Not too terrible. Allows us to be able to rush for more yards and drain the clock even more efficiently here. 2nd and 7 now. Handoff. Spears, nowhere going. Dorian Dixon just got beat inside. Didn't cover his inside too well. I don't know if that was more in the center for not maybe helping him out enough, or if it was Dorian Dixon just not being able to reach. I don't know. Up 25, though, here at the start of the 4th. We played a very good game. A couple mistakes here and there, but nothing too bad to be ashamed of. You know, the 2 picks for Will Levis definitely do suck, but it's not like I'm sitting here going like, oh, he made 2 really bad throws. No, it was mainly my fault, and then just, you know, it was more bad reads than anything. 4th and 7 here, though. We're going to let the clock run. We'll end up probably settling and taking our points here. 52 yards for Trey Wolf. He still doesn't have the strongest leg. He is pretty accurate, though, once we get inside his range. Hopefully he can hit it. With the wind pushing the ball, he should be able to hit this as long as the accuracy's there. It is. And it's up and it's good. I even have to dumb down the accuracy a little bit in terms of the sliders just so that if I do miss a kick badly enough, it will miss. There we don't. 48-20 here late. We're here early in the 4th. 1st and 10. Starting off at their own 25. They're going to get desperate here. They're going to hand the ball off, though, here. Cam Akers. Apparently they've kind of had enough of the pass game, I guess. I kind of understand why. You haven't had a whole ton of success here, you know, especially when you have 3 receivers. 4 receivers if you really want to count Hawkinson. And even 5. They drafted a receiver early, and Quentin Ayers jumps that football. He's playing underneath on Jefferson. 6'4", good athlete, just plays underneath. Safety over top help. And just bad ball there from Joe Lopez. Getting desperate here in these final minutes of the game and has to force something and doesn't go his way. Handoff here, Spears. Spins back inside. Doesn't pick up any yardage, but doesn't lose any either. Just kind of some sheds there, and they were able to make a play. This play looks kind of funky. I've never seen this type of play art before. Gonna run it anyway. Play action fake. Melton, one-on-one with his speed. And just kind of thrown behind him. He was going to have to work back towards the ball, and the corner's able to catch up. That's unfortunate. I know I stopped the clock there, but I wanted to see what it was about, and it worked out. Bill Melton had a play, and just I didn't deliver the ball early enough. It gets behind him, and corner's able to make up to the ground. Just nothing going there, and Hassan Haskins on the day. Going to be 1 for -2. Probably get him going later in the game if we get the ball back and get him going. Out at the 17, and Joe Lopez back out on the field. Pretty quick drive there for us. Not a whole ton of time taken off, so he'll be back on the field within 2 minutes of when he threw his pick. Shair there comes down, hits Gabe Davis hard. Like I was saying, I think Minnesota took a receiver within the first 2 rounds, and then because I think they took a guy that I wanted too at that. So they paid Gabe Davis in the offseason. You draft a quarterback, you draft a receiver, and yet your pass game still isn't quite there. It's not like they have a bad offensive line either. Garrett Bradbury's fine. Your 2 tackles are pretty good. So them struggling here is kind of strange to say the least. They haven't, and our defense isn't particularly great by any stretch of the imagination. I think we definitely still have holes. We definitely still have places to develop, but just there again, nothing going. And like I said, I bumped the QB accuracy back up because some of the QBs in the preseason just weren't performing at least to a level that I thought was comfortable enough in the preseason. They were still performing, but just not to the level that they probably should have been. 4th and 14, Max Smith able to return the ball all the way into Vikings territory. He's already proven to be a pretty good investment. I know people aren't going to like the fact that I got rid of Marquez Stevenson after the year he had. He just wasn't a receiving threat. He just wasn't somebody I really trusted. Of course, going to try to run this clock out as much as possible here. Spears gets 2. He might end his day early, even though he doesn't quite have the stats. I think it's just maybe smart to end his day early. Keep him fresh for maybe the next game. Would probably be the smart move. Then again, nobody's ever accused me of being a smart man. So, Hassan Haskins there, only 1 yard. Still 2 rushes, -1 yards. Got to get that average up. Don't like how his average will be negative if we don't continue to run with him. 3rd and 7. They're committed to slowing down this run, which is understandable. Like I said, there was a couple plays here and there that we were able to break free with Spears, but not consistent running is something I don't enjoy. Ball comes back out to the 20. The way that the arc was angled, I for sure thought the ball was going to travel more towards the sideline. It just didn't, so it went straight into the end zone. 1st and 10 here, though, at their 20. Dropping back to pass. I see Addison. He's going to end up running, picking up the 2nd and inches. Slid just a little too early. I think you hold that run just a second longer, pick up the 1st. You got fresh downs, but then again, 2nd and inches. You should be able to pick this up, and it also will give you, I guess 2nd inches isn't too bad, because then you're not, forcing yourself to restart. You only have inches to go to pick up a 1st. I guess you can look at it in multiple ways. 1st and 10, clock ticking. I think at this point they're just trying to build momentum, see what they have as of right now. I don't think they're actually thinking that they can come back. Underneath to Hawkinson, Mark Vickers, the 4th string corner comes up. Jersey numbers aren't final, with me cutting a lot of the players, and then, of course, me not fixing jersey numbers. Jersey numbers could change over the next couple days, and next couple episodes as well. I think the only one that's really set in stone is Quentin Ayers. I like 41 on corners, especially big physical guys. I don't know why. It's always been something that I've liked. So we'll probably keep him at 41, but some of these other guys, especially Von Florence, wearing 36, Mark Vickers wearing 35. Some of those guys will definitely change, I think, over the coming weeks. 2nd and 10 now. With it being a blowout, there's just not a whole ton to talk about, The defense has played well, but hasn't played particularly great, especially against an offense that has struggled. They really have. They've beaten themselves more times than I can count. They've thrown bad balls on out routes that should be easily caught. I'm not going to sit here and say the defense definitely played well. They definitely played better than probably last year, but not quite to the standard that I want them at. As McCrary goes for a hit, tries to knock the ball out on Addison. It's a good play, it is, but not quite being able to knock it out. 3 for 39 for Addison. A quiet day, if I do say so myself, out of the second-year star. Just not quite. Like I said, this Vikings team has a lot invested in this receiving core in this pass game, and they're just not coming up right now. 1st and 10, dropping back to pass. Addison in the seam, and he just... What a beautiful ball. That was a good ball. Put it between the corner and the safety, and just... 1st and 10. If we pick up 1st down, we should be able to milk this clock pretty much out. They do have 3 timeouts, so they can easily stop the clock enough, and Ivan Pace just coming through strong. Yeah, just We're going to end Spears' day. I think that's the smart move. It really is. There's no reason not to at this point. I don't think there's any upside of keeping him in currently at this moment. And put Haskins and Clyde Edwards in. Like I said, there's just no reason to keep him in. We're going downhill anyway. Let's let Hassan Haskins try to feast a little bit better. 4 yards there, and Hassan Haskins immediately injured. What the fuck is that? Dude, what the actual fuck? I guess Clyde Edwards is coming in. Wow. This game really just said, fuck you, pussy. 3rd and 9. Handoff, left side. Hopefully we can make it up to the second level at least. Clyde Edwards gets 5 there. They haven't stopped the clock, which is strange enough. We'll end up having to punt the ball. They didn't stop the clock. We're going to have to let this 30 seconds run out, basically. I don't really know what the Vikings are going to do on this drive, especially because they weren't calling timeouts, right? If they were calling timeouts, if they were able to get the ball back with like a minute 15, I would understand if they got aggressive, continuously try to go down the field. Break up here by Quentin Ayers on Justin Jefferson. And Shire almost comes up with a pick. But with them not really stopping the clock, I don't really understand what they would be doing. In real life, if you weren't planning on stopping the clock, you probably would just go out here, kneel the ball out, or run the ball once and just call it a day. 3rd and 10 now. If they pass again, we're going to have like 10 seconds left by the time we get the ball. And I'm going to call a shot play. If you want to fucking be dumb, I'm going to be dumb too. And there's Amani Hooker coming up with a pick. Can he return this? Cuts back in. No. Up to the 8. Amani Hooker. Almost getting it into the end zone. Jeez. I think if Justin Jefferson wasn't there, we would have had a better chance. But with me having to cut back so fast, there's not a whole ton of chances. Clyde Edwards down to the 3. He'll have 2 for 10. We're going to let this clock run out. We're not going to rub it in. 48-27, the opening week for us. We end up taking down the Minnesota Vikings. Not too much to complain about. One of the picks I'll definitely take credit for, right? Well, I'll take credit for both picks, right? Of course. I get baited by Harrison Smith. He drops back too hard, and then not being able to fit the ball over top of Jordan Poyer kind of sucks, but it is what it is. Nothing too bad to speak of. DeAndre Hopkins not getting involved. Treylon Burks 4 for 150. God damn, he had more than half of Will Levis's receiving yards, but 281, 73 completion percentage, 2 and 2 for picks and interceptions. Not completely terrible. I'll take that at the moment. Let me grab screenshots for thumbnails and all that fun stuff, and I'll meet you guys back at the main menu. Okay, so we're back at the main menu now. Key to victory. I don't think we quite got 150 yards rushing. I'm going to be completely honest. I just don't think we had the quality runs that we were going to. The win's good, but of course we didn't hit our goal. I think, though, the win is more important. I think it wasn't really based off of how we won. It was more important that we just won. We do have some upgrades to take care of going into the next week. Of course, we're going to go ahead and sim and look and see what the Texans are going into the next week. We're starting off 1-0. That's already off to a very good pace, but almost as much as the AFC South almost all went 1-0 as well. The only team to lose was the Houston Texans, and of course they did beat us once last year. And holy shit, they go out and spend money. They went out and got a center, a left guard in free agency. They went out and got Amari Cooper. They went out and drafted a couple good players. They went out and got, Leonard Williams to come in and play D-tackle for them. They went out and spent some money. They have a very decent team. We might even take a sneak peek at it going into the game next time. But for now, we do have some trade offers on the table as well for both Cleveland Farrell and Harold Landry. I don't think we'll end up actually looking at them, or if we do, I'll talk through some of the trades and whether or not I even think any of the trades are worth it. Or not even worth it, but not overpowered as well, right? With Harold Landry being a superstar because of the last season, I don't want trades to be unfair in my advantage because he has that superstar dev trait. That is something I don't want to do. Amari Cooper, though, went for 6 for 51. The defense already playing better than it did last year, ranked 14th in the run, 24th in pass, and 20th in pass in points per game. Not particularly great, but not particularly terrible. The Houston offense just apparently struggled to put up points last week. but we are one of the top teams in both pass yards, and then in rush yards, we are middle of the road. But with all that being said, I hope you guys enjoy this content or the content here on my channel. I'd appreciate it if you guys do stick around and subscribe. I have more videos coming out like this, whether it's Tennessee Titans franchise. I plan on doing some more Bears stuff, doing some more draft stuff, doing more franchise stuff just in general. I know you guys were absolutely killing it last time I checked on the Justin Fields versus Caleb Williams video. I appreciate the support. I really do. You guys are always crushing it on the roster updates as well. I appreciate those as well. Like I said, Madden roster update should be coming soon once, of course, free agency starts and gets kicked underway and trades and stuff. Not a whole ton has happened. We've had some releases and stuff like that, but nothing too particularly has happened or really been developed into, big moves. I know Trubisky, Chmuka Okafor, Presley Harvin. I know Corey Linsley is expected to retire. I know Cody Whitehair and Eddie Jackson were both cut from the Bears. And I'll have to look at, of course, other teams as I don't follow those teams as closely. But roster updates should be starting soon here for Madden. 2Ks will slowly start to slow down. The only big ones will be, of course, overall changes and then me adding players that need to be added. But other than that, like I said, if you guys appreciate my videos or just enjoy watching them, in whatever video it is, it could be a roster update, it could be Tennessee Titans franchise, it could be anything. I'd appreciate it if you guys do stick around and subscribe. With that being said, guys, I'm out. Peace.